On you, Miss Jordan.
All right, I'm just unmuting. Welcome everyone to today's session. So I hope that everyone has had a great time on today, because we definitely have another area that we want to talk about. We have an exciting agenda for today, and today's session is about reflections. It's also going to be talking about some of our experts on giving some of their interpretations from today. So on my panel, I am so excited to announce these experts that's going to talk with you on today. Today, the first one is Mr. Lenwood Long. Mr. Lenwood Long is the president and the CEO of the African American Alliance of CDFI. And I'm so grateful to be on the panel today. And then we're going to also have them to introduce themselves afterwards as well. The next on the panel, we have Michael Gilmer. Michael actually is also a CEO from Frontline Solutions, but he identifies as MRBF. So that's his actually his new company that he's actually doing a wonderful job with. And we are so grateful to have him to give his reflections as it pertains to some of our MBE. We also have Commissioner Nimasheena Burns out of Durham, North Carolina. So Nima, we welcome you to today's panel, and I'm so excited to hear your reflections as well. Last but not least, we have Denisha Harris. Denisha is actually a wonderful peer. And thank you so much for being a peer and all the great things that you are doing down in the city of Greenville, because she's that purchasing director. And she's going to bring a lot of great reflections today about supplier diversity. So with that, I'm going to stop and take a moment. And if they could introduce themselves in that order. And if we can have about maybe 30 seconds to 1 minute, and then we're going to move straight into our reflections. So Mr. Lenwood, if you could please introduce yourself about the things that you've been doing with the CDFI.
Thank you so much, Valerie. I'm honored to be on this esteemed panel. I won't take long to say something about me, but I'm really proud of the African American Alliance of CDFI CEOs. It's a network, we call a coalition, of about 53 CDFIs covering all 50 states in terms of service, but committed to working to reduce the racial wealth gap. And proud to be a part of this group and working with them around this common purpose that's been so elusive over the centuries.
Wow, thank you so much, Mr. Lenwood. It's always a pleasure. Michael Gilmer, is he there with us? I think I see him somewhere. Has he joined the panel yet? That's okay, we're gonna move over. We're going to wait for him to join as he joins the group. Commissioner Nimasheena Burns from Durham, North Carolina. Has she joined us as of yet?
I'm here.
Hello, good morning, Commissioner. How are you?
I'm good, thank you, Ms. Jordan. My name is Nimasheena Burns. I'm currently an External Affairs Manager for the North Carolina Department of Public Safety, and I also serve in my current capacity as Durham County Commissioner in Durham County, recently elected. And one of the things that we're doing, there's a new resurgence in Durham County in focusing on Black businesses. So I'll save some of that for my comments so that I can elevate those things, and maybe it can get some of the folks on this line to push their elected officials to do the same, and perhaps some of those elected officials can take some of those tenants back home.
Thank you so much, Commissioner. It's always a pleasure again to hear from you as well. So Denisha Harris. So hello, my friend. Hope you're doing well again.
I am doing well. I'm doing well. Thank you, Valerie.
So if you can give us some information about you and the things that you're doing with the city of Greenville.
Absolutely. So again, thank you, Valerie, and thank you to Napoleon Wallace and all the partners of Resilient NC, the Hub Office, to Director Hall, and all of you who have taken the time out of your busy schedules to attend the forum today. My name is Denisha Harris. I serve as the Financial Services Manager for our local government, the City of Greenville. I am over procurement and the Minority and Women Business Enterprise Program to lead inclusive procurement. I also serve as a member of the Purchasing Subcommittee and of the Governor Roy Cooper's Hub Advisory Council. Thank you, Chair Jordan. And I am the proud president of the North Carolina MWBE Coordinators Network, a statewide association of public supplier diversity professionals. Our mission is to provide education and resources to our members and business community.
Thank you so much, Denisha, for all of your hard work and the things that you're doing with the Hub Advisory Council. And again, welcome to today's panel. Hey, I think that I see Micah's back. Micah Gilmore, are you there to give us information about yourself? I think he's having some technical problems. So as he joins, we're going to just go move forward. And once he gets in, we'll bring him in on
So
today's
Valerie,
conversation.
this is Tammy. Let me jump in. Talib is in place of Micah. So if you
Oh, good.
reference to Talib, thank you.
Oh, thank you, Talib. I am so sorry. Hello, Mr. Talib. How are you, sir?
I'm doing pretty good. You can call me Micah for short.
Micah, great. All righty. Well, now I was confused here a little bit, right? But you know what? It is a pleasure to always see you and talk with you. So if you can give us a little bit about you, we would really appreciate that.
So my name is Talib Graves-Manns, showing up today in the capacity of Partners in Equity. I am a partner alongside Napoleon Wallace and Wilson Lester. We are a private equity firm focused on, as a social impact enterprise, focused on two things: fighting displacement within our commercial corridors that are Black owned, and creating generational wealth through real estate ownership. So we invest in Black business owners that are looking to either acquire their commercial real estate to go from renting to owning their real estate, or if they currently own real estate, improving that real estate to get it to its highest and best use. The reason why we chose real estate over venture capital, tech, or whatever, because owning real estate is the number one factor in creating wealth in America, and not enough participation is happening amongst Black business owners. So that's what we do. And then with Resiliency, who is sponsoring this forum alongside the great people at the Hub office, is we're essentially, let's just call us a think tank around the topics of Black economic development and entrepreneurial support across the state of North Carolina, hopefully broader than North Carolina as we continue to grow. So it has been a pleasure to be here with all these brilliant minds, and I look forward to being a kind of a fly on the wall for this one. I'll have some comments at the end of this session.
Well, we certainly do appreciate that, and thank you so much. So we're going to move straight into today's panel, and I want to be time sensitive, so to give every one of the panelist members an opportunity to speak. So we're going to kind of narrow it down to maybe about 2 minutes. So I'm going to ask Mr. Lenwood to start us off. Mr. Lenwood, if you could please, give us some information as of today, discussing some of your ideas and where you see some of the barriers, basically from today's conferences, for minority businesses, as it pertains to CDFIs.
Thank you so much. First I have to unmute myself, right? That's one of the. I began this morning at 8 a.m. and I listened to my good friend Dr. McCoy talked about this practical entrepreneur. But as he painted the picture, right, it reminded me that in almost every area of metrics, Black businesses suffer, right? And it's in keeping with the fact that when you talk about deserts, whether it's education, whether it's health, economic development, we lag. And so it says that we are in a hole. When you take a look at 41% of Black businesses have declined, that's huge, right? When you compare it to statistics of other. And I still say that access to capital is a major tool that will allow us to scale. And I'm not talking about maintaining, because I think one of the things we need to do is to start thinking big, right? And thinking not maintenance, but how do we scale Black businesses? Because the research has shown us and tell us that Black business have Black people, right? And so when we began to increase economics within our own community, then we will begin to, I think, narrow that gap. There was a word that I took away from the governor's comment this morning because I think it's very important. When you think about what Tammy Hall has been doing, creative thinking outside of the box with Retool, North Carolina, we have to understand that that wasn't an epiphany that somebody come up and say we need to do this. It was the work of Tammy Hall to say that we need to look at doing it in a more direct way. The Black businesses are historical unutilized businesses, being politically correct. But I'm going to say Black businesses didn't need more debt. They needed what? Equity investment. And so when we think about path forward, we have to look at the Retreat, North Carolina as a model where we can build the balance sheet capacity of Black businesses that they may grow in scale to do the kinds of work that they are doing in their marketplace, but more importantly, impact employment in our communities.
Wow, thank you so much. That is so profound, Mr. Long, and definitely thank you for those, for your perspectives on that. Very important. Denisha, I would love to hear your perspectives from your professional background and the things that you advocate with us for. What are some of your ideas and some of your barriers that, that's been shared today? If someone were to ask you, that wasn't able to attend the conference, what's your thoughts here?
Sure. What I have taken away from this panel and from this forum is that the time is now. As we know, the occurrences of last year have shined a light on the gross inequities plaguing our Black and Brown communities, but specifically our Black businesses. As Dr. McCoy presented in his data, the Equity Index demonstrates that Black businesses are experiencing inequality and inequity at the highest rates as compared to other underserved groups. The sectors are aligning from corporate to government to nonprofit to provide both financial and human capital resources to drive Black business growth. At the City of Greenville alone, our budget has increased 10 times its existing allocation as a result of community input to prioritize MWBE firms. This assistance across sectors has the potential to reach or to reap great dividends. Research indicates that our Black entrepreneurs have higher wealth levels and they have wealth mobility that is greater than, say, your Black workers. This mobility has the potential to equal your white entrepreneurs. However, the size and sustainability of these firms lessen the impact and create the poverteering effect that Dr. McCoy spoke of this morning. Therefore, I challenge business and diversity professionals and advocates to be strategic and intentional. That is a word, those are words that we've heard throughout today's forum. Be strategic and intentional in harnessing the much needed support and resources that are coming into our Black communities, and use evidence-based data and metrics to continuously measure results. Our efforts must not be short-term, but they must be short, medium, and long-term, seeking outcomes and not just activities. We must be available to receive and to provide feedback for process improvement. And use the equity equation. This equation says that we not only have to provide access to opportunity, we must reduce and eliminate barriers to participation and provide the necessary help that will acknowledge the disadvantage and offer support.
Thank you so much, Denisha. And again, I love when you said short, medium, and long term. So Talib, I know that you gave a great introduction and you talked about barriers earlier. If you can maybe give us 1 minute about, continuation of that particular conversation when you came in on to talk about some of the things that you see as some of the areas that you want to share with our communities.
Areas for improvement?
Oh.
One of the things that I think is important now is just really putting more money on the street. Right. My favorite quote that I forgot which entrepreneur said it, said, "No coaching without capital. No coaching without capital." Right. So I'm a second generation entrepreneur, fourth generation, on both my matriarchal side of my family and patriarchal side of my family. I've been around entrepreneurship, and I've been doing it myself for the past 7 years. I've been through lots of programs. I've sat through lots of seminars. I've been in incubators and I've been in accelerators. And I can tell you that some of that helped. But there was a point where I really had already figured it out. And I didn't need much more coaching. And a lot of the people that we work with don't need much more coaching. They need the capital. Like, something that I feel is lost sometimes is the the ingenuity and the creativity and the grit of a founder to build something. It takes a whole lot of audacity just to get that far. And oftentimes what I see happening in the marketplace is they're met with somebody that is not a good match for them, trying to coach them and work with them to help their business get to its highest and best use. When I think it should be a little bit inverted, right? There should be direct capital investments, especially when you're small and you're an African-American entrepreneur, in the form of grants or non-dilutable investments into your business for it to grow and for it to thrive. So that's a big takeaway for me right now, is specifically in North Carolina, is being a catalyst to unlock more funds, unrestricted funds that can go directly into the bank accounts of the Black entrepreneurs. You know, we did survey work last year through Resiliency, and we surveyed over 252 businesses right during the COVID-19 outbreak. And the feedback that we got from them was the majority of them want grants, but they also want equity. And what they don't want is more loans, more interest rates coming toward, you know, and affecting their balance sheet and their ability to grow, right? So again, finding more capital, unlocking that capital and putting that on the street. I feel like if this is a good example, if all of us know a good food truck, right? You go to the food truck and the food is good, right? Typically it's a family or somebody close relationship that's managing that food truck. If you think they can't have 8 more food trucks and 2 more stores, right? You're a fool. They can do all of those things with more cash in their pocket and a bit more resources to be able to do that. They already built the recipe. The recipe is the food. They just simply need more capital to be able to scale and roll those out. So that's why I think this convening is so important, is for us to lock heads and move forward toward bringing this capital down that we can spread out.
Wow. Thank you so much. We really appreciate that. That's very powerful. And, you know, I really appreciate those, you know, what you just said. You know, 1 food truck can actually do 8 food trucks, right? So great. So thank you so much for that share. And I'm going to sum it up with someone, again, Commissioner Nimasheena Burns, who is just a strong political advocate. And I want her to put a bow on this and give us a charge from a political wheel. Nimasheena Burns, please.
Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. Hello, Commissioner.
Hello. So when I was charged with coming in today, Tammy Hall said, I need you to talk about political will. And we have seen some of that political will displayed today throughout our 75th governor, Governor Roy Cooper, as is evident from today's forum, the development of a hub advisory board, and of course, the continuing and unwavering support of our champion of change, Tammy Hall, and her hub team. But leadership like that doesn't always trickle down. It's like economics. And that's especially true in our beloved North Carolina. So this renewed energy in highlighting what was previously known by us, the inequities that Black people have to face, is not enough. And we can't get individuals on the local level to do the same. I'm here to tell you there's a path for you to get local elected officials to do the same. Since the election of President Obama, we have seen a surge in Black elected officials on both the national and the local stage. So you have to ask yourself, what are they doing for Black business and Black communities? So I often meditate on Anna Julia Cooper's words, and I'm going to paraphrase here, and I hope you all will excuse my voice, but if anybody saw me last night on Facebook, I was partying with President Joe Biden, and I even brought up Hub Firm. So that is why my voice is a little hoarse. But Anna Julia Cooper said, when and where I enter, without violence, without suing, without special patronage, then and there the entire Negro race enters with me. And that is the same energy that we have to bring to these political spaces. It's the ones that our constituents have to have for us, the expectation that they have for us, and we have to confront some very sad truths. The first truth is, so far, many government entities, just like corporations, have not gone beyond supportive statements, and they have not applied sustained pressure on their respective lawmakers. The second, the majority of our white elected counterparts are more likely to listen to us than some of the Black grassroots activists or some of our church leaders. So we have to own that, and we have the power to drive the national conversation in ways that protest and pleas from activists Just can't. So again, I'm asking ourselves, what did I hear today that let me know that as an elected official, I have the power to push some change? So somebody asked the question, how do I, as a micro business, access opportunities when the criteria is not adjusted? This is when I said, this is my opportunity to listen as an elected official. There was another body not too long ago, not too far from Durham, where a business owner said, here's an RFP to paint a house that's 30 pages. Here's an RFP to make a recreational rope course that's 12 pages. Why is the RFP to paint a house almost 3 times the length of one for a recreational rope course? So I had to own that and say, I'm going to step in and make sure that my managers put out equitable RFPs. We've been asked about where is their new capital. The new capital is right in your neighborhood. The American Rescue Plan is sending billions of dollars to North Carolina. 80% of that is going to your counties. 300 million is coming to my very own Durham County. So you have to say to yourself, how do I access this capital? I would say to constituents on this call, you need to go and look at your county's organizational chart. And if they don't have an MWBE coordinator or they don't have a hub coordinator, you need to make the case that you were being left out of this conversation and left out of access to capital. And if they don't put those positions there, then you reach out to one of these firms that has been on these calls and say, we need a consultant to come in since we don't have a position to actually make sure that we get the companies and the businesses there. So we spend Black dollars in Black communities to bring Black schools and Black businesses and safe Black ventilation systems. Somebody else said today, how do we do that if we don't have help? We're doing that in Durham County. Who else can we bring to the table? For the first time ever in Durham County, we are actually giving funding to our Black Chamber of Commerce. It takes having people and different voices at the table to make sure that our people get what we need. Someone said earlier today, everything that we do will not work. But if we do nothing, nothing will happen. I'm asking everyone on here, what are you willing to work for today? Thank you.
That put a bow on it. And thank you for that charge. And I also want to thank you for your commitment to your citizens. As your public servant in Durham, but also all the things that you're doing with the NC Hope program. So thank you so much, my sister. Thank you everyone for being the panelists, joining us on this important perspectives. And I am going to turn it over so that Director Tammy Hall can have some final words. And also, if those individuals that's here with us today, if you prepare to get ready to move over to your next session. Director Hall, if you can close us out, please.
Thank you. What a great panel discussion this has been. We are very close on time here. We have our final panel, which is Be the Change. You all have motivated all of us. So we're going to close out and I'll see you in the final session. Be the change.
Be disruptors.
Get into good trouble.
Necessary
Unnecessary trouble.
Necessary trouble.
Hey, Tammy, and when we kick off the next section, we'd love to be able to play that video. All right. Thank you.
Thank y'all.